past perfect and future perfect review. Let's watch a quick video that will help us talk about these tenses.
Oh no! What's this? This is not mine. This is Emily's, and she's getting ready to leave for the airport. I have to give this to her before she leaves. I'll never make it in time in these shoes. Oh no! I'm gonna be so late. Better hurry. Oh no! She's leaving right now! Where's Emily?
She already left.
No!
Let's look at a timeline of what happened. You saw me run to the office, but when I arrived, Emily was not there because she left before I arrived. We have two actions that both started and finished in the past. One action happened before the other action. We could say it like this: Emily left, I arrived. But the time order is not clear. To be clear, we could say Emily left before I arrived, or Emily had already left by the time I arrived. This is the past perfect tense. Emily had already left. To form this tense, we use the helping verb had and the past participle of the verb leave. Or we can also say, Emily had gone to the airport before I arrived. We use the helping verb had and the past participle of go. We use this tense when we have two finished actions that happened in the past. The verb that is in the past perfect is always the action that happened first. This action started and ended before the second action occurred. Notice that the later action uses the simple past. Past perfect must be used with the action that occurred first. I had changed my shoes before I got to the office. First, I changed my shoes. It is wrong to say, I changed my shoes before I had gotten to the office, because the later action cannot use the past perfect. We can use the word already to emphasize that one thing happened before another. It is very common to use already, but it is not necessary. Emily had already left by the time I arrived. By the time has the same meaning as before and can be used with the past perfect. Emily had already left before I arrived has the same meaning. If you use by the time, you should use simple past in the dependent clause and use past perfect in the independent clause, or the clause without by the time. We can use this tense without either of these words. I had changed my shoes before I got to the office. But if you want to use already, just insert it between the helping verb and the past participle of the main verb. We know the order of these events. Emily had already left by the time I arrived. We can also say, Emily had been in her car for about 15 minutes by the time I arrived. If we want to compare the time between these two events, we can use the preposition for and an amount of time. We can also use since. Emily had been in her car since 11:45, but I arrived at 12 o'clock. Okay, let's see what will happen next.
Oh no, she's on her way to the airport. By the time she gets to the airport, her phone will have died.
By the time she gets to the airport, her phone will have already died. Both of these actions will occur in the future. Will have died, gets there. But we cannot say will get, because we can't use future tense in a time clause with words like before or by the time. The action that will happen first is die. The second action is get. You may know this as the future perfect tense. To form this tense, use will, have, and the past participle. We use future perfect tense when there are two actions that will both occur in the future. Future perfect is used with the action that will happen first. This action will finish before the second action occurs. It is common to use by the time before the second action. Remember, by the time means before. We can also say the same sentence like this. Her phone will have already died by the time she gets to the airport. What will poor Emily do?
What? My charger? Well, I can't come back now. By the time I drive there, my plane will have already left.
By the time she drives back to the office, the plane will have already left. Which action will happen first? Her plane will leave first before she drives back. Notice the same rules apply for by the time and already as in the past perfect. By the time goes before the second action, and already goes between the helping verb and the past participle. I guess Emily will not be able to use her phone because I was too slow. Thanks for listening.